I was always moving with the intent to leverage the free coaching so that I could get paid coaching.
Okay.
So that was always, I think, being clear about my intentions was the number one thing. I always knew I'm not just coaching free just to coach for free.
Yeah.
I actually want this to be a business. And if you're in business, you're in sales. And I tell everyone that. So that was already the mindset that I had, that like, I'm doing this for free to leverage these testimonies so that people will trust me, so that eventually people will invest in what I'm offering. That was always the plan, and it worked out perfectly.
If you're looking for a space that feels like yours but comes with way more perks, then Bamboo's dedicated desk is exactly what you need. Now, when you sign up for a dedicated desk, what you'll get is an ergonomic chair, so your back won't be hurting while you're getting your work done. You'll also get free coffee and tea daily in order to fuel your grind. And don't forget, you get mail services and printing services right at your fingertips. And also, you get your own personal storage with the lockbox for your security and peace of mind. And it doesn't stop there. Just by being a member of any of the Bamboo locations, you get access to discounts from local businesses. So if you're ready to join the Bamboo community and find a space that's yours, what I need you to do right now is to go ahead and email Malika at bamboocowork.com or give them a call at 313-766-0134 and tell them that the Black Fridays podcast sent you. And right now, while the desks are available, if you sign up for a 6-month commitment, you'll get 1 month free. Or if you sign up for a 12-month commitment, you'll get 2 whole months free. I look forward to seeing you at the Bamboo locations. With that being said, let's get into the episode. What up, though, Black Fridays family? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Fridays podcast. Before we get into today's episode, I need you to go ahead, hit that like button, hit subscribe, make sure you comment, and then send some videos to family, friends, and loved ones so that we can keep this thing going. Now that I got that out of the way, very special guest in the building, a fellow Sagittarius, and also somebody who was helping transform our mindsets and our lives, Miss LaNasia Angelina. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm excited. I've been excited since I woke up. So I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
Dope. Well, we appreciate you pulling up to Black Fridays today. So would love to be able to first start with, you are a mindset and business coach.
Yes.
And so could you give us an understanding of what exactly that means? And then I want to know the LaNasia approach to that.
Oh, I like that. So as a mindset and business coach, well, I started as a mindset coach. And as I learned a lot of things in business, and also just some of the pain points of my clients, I eventually started to add additional services that would support them in getting started, but also understanding how to sustain. And a big part of that is the foundation, right? I believe in the philosophy for be, do, have. So you can want and execute all you want, but if you are not the person, then you're never going to have the thing. So helping my clients to really understand what limiting beliefs exist for them, what really stifles them. Because typically when people aren't able to move forward, it's something internal that's happening. And my philosophy is your transformation is an inside job. So if we can get inside, we can understand what triggers you have that exist, what limiting beliefs, what doubt, fears might exist for you. Once we overcome those, then developing a strategic plan to get you moving forward are our next steps.
And how does that play a factor in terms of entrepreneurship and small business? Because let's just say, play devil's advocate. I know how to do my thing. I excel at that. But why do I need to change my mindset in order to do better business? What they got to do with my business?
Oh, my goodness. There's a book by Gary Keller that says, in this book, he has a quote that says, "You be hard pressed to find an elite achiever that doesn't have a coach." And it's because there's always more. And we're limited in seeing our own blind spots, right? There's always more to access, more to uncover, more to discover within ourselves, and also things that we need to unlearn. Because sometimes we're operating at the capacity that worked to get us to where we are now, but it won't get us to our next level. So helping people to see that, understand that, it might be habits and behaviors that people are operating in that worked very well in the last season. I mean, you're in business, with the changes in technology and things like that. It might have been something that was killer a year ago. And now, no matter how hard you try with the same system, it's just not working, right? And that's the same for us. What worked for you last season might not be the solution for your problem in this season. So did that answer your question?
It did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So could you tell us a little bit about your business and how long you've been doing it, and then
Yeah.
the services that you offer also?
Yeah. So in my agency, Transformations Coaching Agency, we provide coaching, consulting, and training. So with that, we provide personal coaching and also coaching to also group coaching. We also provide consulting services to organizations who want coaching for their staff and for their leaders. And then in that, we also have a training program that certifies aspiring and active coaches. A lot of them are therapists and counselors who are like, I love what I'm doing right now. I don't necessarily want to stop what I'm doing, but I do want to be able to operate in a more flexible capacity outside of the ethical guidelines and restrictions that comes with being in an industry like medicine, being in, an industry like therapy, psychology. So yeah, helping them to develop their skill set so that they're able to serve in the way that they feel is most purposeful for them, in addition to what they're offering, in their current industry.
Very dope. So
Thank you.
Now we're going to have some fun on Black Fridays.
All right.
And I want to introduce you to my favorite part of Black Fridays, which is Freestyle Friday.
Okay.
Hey, listen, thank you all so much for listening to this episode and any episode of the Black Fridays podcast. But I got to be honest with y'all, I really think it's something missing, and I hate that y'all didn't notice it. The thing that's missing is your podcast. Why am I not listening to your podcast? You talked about making one with your friends years ago. You know that you need one to better market and promote your business, but yet you still don't have one. This is why I created the Pocket Podcasting course, to teach you how to be able to podcast with the essentials and tools that you have right at your fingertips in order to create. And I created 2 different ways in order for you to do that. You could join my digital do-it-yourself on-demand video recorded Pocket Podcasting course, where I go literally step by step from idea on how you upload your very first podcast episode. And for my people who like to have something a little bit more tangible, I have created a digital ebook that walks you through my podcasting journey, the things I've learned along the way, the tools and equipment that I use in order to create and elevate my show. Now, look, I don't want to keep you too long, but I'm going to make this as simple as possible. Go ahead and head over to www.blackfridayspod.com to learn more about the digital podcast course and also the podcasting ebook, or you can hit the links in the show notes to take you directly to each of those resources. All right, enough of that. Time to get back into the episode. So
I ain't got to rap, do I?
You absolutely have to rap.
All right, say less.
Yeah, that's right.
Say less. You don't even know my high school. I used to be in a rap group.
Okay, tell us more about that.
I'm embarrassed. I could actually rap one of the raps. I remember it, but I won't be doing that.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Is it PG?
It's PG, but
Okay.
it is of the past. I used to write poetry.
Okay.
I used to write a lot of poetry. I used to do spoken word. I used to do stand up. And I used to rap. Yeah, I've been writing for a long time. No, that's funny.
Okay.
Stand up, like spoken word. Like whenever there was
okay.
an event, I used to get up. I used to do the talent shows. I used
Okay.
to sing in talent shows. Yeah, I used to do all that.
Okay, you got a poem for us?
Oh, I could do a poem. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. Oh my gosh, I got one of my favorite poems.
Okay.
This is like out the box because don't nobody know that. I used to be in my poetry bag. So let me see if I remember it. This is kind of a vulnerable poem, but it's kind of good. It's kind of good. So I have flaws. And the ones who love me with them, I don't want to love back. But instead, I like that I can get every girl I want, so I'm a Mac type Jack. But once I'm done with one, I don't look back. Okay, I might glance a little, but I never backtrack. Don't let go is what I asked, and then you promised, and then you let go. But I'm not tripping. It's not me. It's you. It's just at times I get a little confused because I believe that you are the truth. But the truth don't exist without a lie. You pulled the wool right over my eyes. Naive? Hell yeah. Not ashamed to admit it. My feelings were involved. Wait. My feelings weren't just involved. They were wrapped up and stapled to you, taped and glued. My feelings were handcuffed to your heart, and I would get wrapped inside your music as if it was Mozart. And I could only express movement to the sound of your melody. And even when your beat wasn't perfect, I would compromise my movement to slide right into your beat. I was willing, so willing, that I lost sight of what for me was fulfilling. I lost sight of me, and losing sight of me is not where I need to be, but instead wrapped up in my poetry. I was so wrapped up in my belief that I had in you that I lost my belief for he who lives inside of me. And when the lights were dimmed and I was alone in the silence, there was only the presence of one surrounding me. And although at times it's a struggle to gain sight of the sunlight past the clouds, my God gave me abundant strength. The strength to endure my present circumstance and learn to appreciate it so that one day I can inhale, exhale, and say I made it.
Ladies and gentlemen, LaNasia Angelina.
Wow. I used to think I was so sweet with that pause. So that was one of my faves, and I still remember it.
That's one of the ones you used to get on stage
All the
and
time.
kill it.
All the time.
Dope.
I usually wouldn't rush through it like that. I went a little faster today for the sake of the podcast. But yeah, that's one of my faves.
That was perfect. We appreciate that.
Thank you. That's like 15 years old.
Dang.
Crazy.
And you got you hop right back in that bag. Like
I love that one. Oh wow. I have to go home right up on. But I'm speaking now, so it all kind of makes sense.
Yes.
Like the cadence, the heartbeat, so it all makes sense.
It do, yeah.
Yeah.
It all came full circle. And so if you don't mind, I would like to ask you, so Freestyle Friday is really rapid fire questions. So I would, if you don't mind, ask you a few rapid fire questions.
I've always wanted to do this.
All right, perfect. So so you're a 2-time author. What is a book that you really, actually no, I'm going to reel it back. What's a book that you would recommend to someone who is starting a business or a small business owner? If you had to tell them, read this one book while you're on your journey.
Gary Keller, One Thing. Yeah, the one thing, because as a business owner, especially in 2025, it's so easy to be pulled in so many different directions because there's so many things to be inspired by. When I'm on social media, I see a million things that I could be doing. But it's important to lock in with yourself, focus on that one thing, the main thing, and then allow those branches to grow organically instead of trying to build 5 different businesses at once.
Right. Where would you say your favorite place is to travel?
Oh, Colombia. Hands down. Medellin, period. Go.
Easy.
It's my favorite place. Like the food is great. You can actually eat the bread there. The dollar goes so far, the American dollar. So, and it's very developed too. I wasn't expecting that. So it's beautiful.
And where do you, what was I going to say? I asked you where would you like to travel, and where would you recommend to someone who is not from Detroit or the area to go if this was their first time in town?
Oh, if this is your first time in town, definitely the Riverwalk. Like, period. Got to go to the Riverwalk, depending on the weather. Even if it's not that nice out, go. Just check it out. Godfrey is one of my favorite spots. I think the view is just breathtaking. Monarch. I like views. So Monarch, Godfrey, Kemper's, like any spot with a nice view is where you want to go because it allows you to really take in how beautiful Detroit is from above. And Parlay. Parlay my spot. Come on. Like if you're looking for a little vibe, go to Parlay. You don't have a time.
For sure. Last but not least, if your phone could only do one of these 3 things, which one would you prefer that it does? Video call, phone call, text message?
Video call all day.
Okay.
I'm a FaceTime girl. I need to see you. I need the connection. I live alone.
Okay.
So I need to see folks.
Okay. So we appreciate you for partaking. Freestyle Fridays.
I like that.
Yeah, passed it flawlessly, and we even got a poem out of it.
Hey, listen, I'm invoicing you. I'm invoicing him for that too. That was not free.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the podcast. End of this episode. I'll see y'all next time. But no, thank you again. And I wanted to go back into talking about your business journey. So in terms of you being in the business coaching space and transformative coaching space, that hasn't always been the scenario. So I wanted you to touch on what you did prior to that, because you have a very interesting point of pivot for yourself that we have talked about off camera.
Yeah, absolutely. So before I went full time into coaching, I was actually in the mortgage industry. I was on the wholesale side of sales at 2 of the biggest companies. Wholesaling in mortgages. And honestly, I always say, mortgages taught me everything I needed to know about business, because I feel like I have been on this entrepreneurial journey for a very long time. Well, first, I'll go back even further. When I first even was inspired to be an entrepreneur in any capacity, I had a nonprofit that I operated for 7 years in partnership with Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeastern Michigan. So I did that for years, didn't really know what I was doing. Like, I knew that I was philanthropic. I knew I loved showing up for the community, but I didn't really understand the business side of things, even though I was able to secure funding a little bit, do a lot of grassroots fundraising and things like that. But I didn't really understand how to operate that nonprofit so that it had a lot of sustainability. So I did get to a place where I had to dissolve those partnerships, because if I didn't dissolve it with a little grace, then they would have crumbled chaotically. So I did that. And from there, I really didn't know what I would do, but I knew I needed full-time work at the time. So I got into mortgages, and I loved it. Honestly, it was like exhilarating. You know, you go into this big company, it's beautiful. You feel like a real grown up, you know, like all these big meetings, everyone's wearing suits. It was like so legit. I loved it. I loved the atmosphere, but I also had started life coaching at the time, right before going into mortgages. I wasn't really making money, but I loved it. So I was still doing that during the time. So during quarantine, I actually started to generate a little bit of, momentum in my business, because before quarantine, I was just taking clients in a coffee shop, like here and there. I was barely even making $1,000 a month doing life coaching. Sometimes I barely made $500 a month, right? So I would take clients whenever I could, right? But I didn't really understand how to keep generating business. So I would have clients on the weekends, clients after work, things like that. But I wasn't really able to supplement my income. I didn't really understand how to do that. So being in mortgages, and this is how I really knew I was purposed to be a life coach, because while I was in mortgages, I was at this great company. It was so inspiring. I had great leadership. And every time we had these meetings, I had this little box in the corner that I would put the name of my company. I would put Rise. It was Rise and Be Great at the time. It's called Rise Coaching Agency now. Well, doing business as transformations, we've evolved names. But I would put Rise and Be Great. So everything he would teach us, I would write it down in the corner. It's like, oh, this is how you sell. This is how you know what I'm saying? Like, I would always take those notes and then apply them to my business. So in real time, while I was at this company, I was applying these lessons to my business. So when quarantine happened, my business started picking up, because I went from just serving people locally to serving people nationally, because now I'm promoting my services through social media. And that's another thing they taught us in mortgages, like how to make connections through social media, through marketing, things like that. But they were trying to tell us how to teach the brokers. I was teaching myself. So I started to apply those lessons. And when quarantine happened, I was doing both at the time. And I was like burned out, because my coaching business started picking up, but then we're in quarantine. And if you know anything about the financial industry, especially on the wholesale side, I was getting cussed out every day by my partners. They was like, I can't get money off my line. I was like, oh. And then I got to go be a life coach at 6 p.m.
Right.
What? I was going crazy. So my boyfriend at the time, he had already been encouraging me to leave like months before. And then at that time, I felt like, okay, I'm not making a whole lot, but I'm definitely making a couple $1,000s now. I feel confident. I feel like I can do this thing. So I left. And then circumstances changed, and then we're in quarantine. I ended up having to move, and all these things changed. So I ended up, after 10 months of thugging it out, running my business while going through heartbreak, while moving, I was like, I'm going back to get a job. So I went back to get a job, and I went to the second best company now. Okay. And I went to work for them. And even though their leadership wasn't the best, I didn't learn the best from them, but they was paying the most. Okay, they paid me a pretty penny to barely do anything. And it was remote, so I was able to run my business while doing that at the same time. And I was running it up. I'm not gonna lie, I was running it up, doing both. And I ain't gonna lie, a year to the day of me working there, I got my pre-approval letter. 3 weeks later, I closed on my house. 3 weeks after that, I was out of there. And I was ready to go before then. And my friend, my great friend at the time, he had invested in real estate, like several properties. And he was like, don't leave that job before you get the house. And I was emotionally ready to go. I was like, I'm ready to go. Like, my business making money. He like, trust me, it's going to be a wise decision. And it was a wise decision because now it's positioned me to prepare myself to get my second property now. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's been almost 4 years now that I've been out here.
Nice.
Out here. Thank you. It's a blessing.
So as you start to transition into the business space for yourself, who could you take me back to that first client, whether you can say them by name or not, but just really that experience for you that started to help you realize like, okay, I'm on to something. Like the first paid client, what was that experience like and where were you at in life at that moment?
Oh my gosh. So I'll tell you, and I'll tell everybody this, my first few clients were free. So after I paid for my certification, which I didn't even really have the money to invest in, but I prayed about it, and God was like, "This is what you're supposed to be doing." So He made a way for me to make that payment every month. I promise. Like He is such a provider. And after that, I always tell my students in Life Coach University, because I have a life coaching school. I don't know if I talked about that, but that's an extension of my agency.
Yep.
And I always tell my students, you don't have a t-shirt. I don't have something I can hold up and say, this is what I do. So I needed testimonies. I needed people to say, LaNasia's good at what she does. So it was my first free clients that made me feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I was getting breakthroughs. Like the testimonies that they were sharing with me were like, you changed my life, and once I got one hit of that, I was like, it's up. I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna figure it out. So yeah, it was my first few clients. I even remember one of my clients told me, you didn't just change my life, you changed my children's lives.
Wow.
And when I heard that, it was just nothing else that could separate me from everything I was doing, getting back in mortgages. It was always just a means to, provide so that I could get back to doing what I was purposed to do.
And so I got a follow up to that, but I want to go back a little bit just to ask what does it take for anybody who might be interested in like possibly life coaching or business coaching? What did it take for you to get certified? Because you mentioned you paid for a certification.
Yeah, I paid for two actually. I paid for one locally through a program that was similar to mine. So I went through that program. Obviously, if you are interested, go to lifecoachuniversityonline.com and you will learn everything. I'll have a conversation with you, whatever questions that you have. I'll prepare you. But I went through a program from someone I knew locally. She actually went to my church. And she's actually someone who like planted the seed at the time. And she was like, you're a life coach. I'm like, girl, I don't even know what a life coach is. Like, what? And I prayed about it. I fasted about it. And I was like, okay, I might be a life coach. Let's see what this thing is about. Best decision I ever made in my life. And then the second certification I got was 2 years later. I went through the John Maxwell coaching program. Flew out to Orlando. He trained us himself, and it was an amazing experience. So, yeah, that's how I was certified through both the programs.
Got you. And then to follow up on what you mentioned prior to that, going from being able to do these things for free and then now being able to make it to where you're able to sustain obviously yourself, your lifestyle, business, being able to scale that. How do you go from, I'm thinking about pricing now. So like, how did you go from a free model to working with people to be able to get that experience under your belt to now being able to be in a phase where you can scale to different aspects of the business? Well,
that's a really good question. I think a lot of people are stuck in free. This past weekend, I facilitated a workshop called Passion to Profit because everyone's like stuck at free and they're like afraid to ask. I think the biggest part, even though I was charging before getting into mortgages, I was charging like $35 an hour here and there. Number one, I say I was always moving with the intent to leverage the free coaching so that I could get paid coaching.
Okay.
So that was always, I think, being clear about my intentions was the number one thing. I always knew I'm not just coaching free just to coach for free. I actually want this to be a business. And if you're in business, you're in sales. And I tell everyone that. So that was already the mindset that I had, that like, I'm doing this for free to leverage these testimonies so that people will trust me, so that eventually people will invest in what I'm offering. That was always the plan. And it worked out perfectly. Now, when I learned how to sell good, mortgages taught me that because it took away the ick from selling. It took the fear, any reservations I had about selling. It took it away because it's like, if you have a business, you have to sell. Like, what are you doing? If you're not selling, then you're not in business. If you're not marketing, then you're not in business. You're the one responsible for communicating your value, and then asking people to invest in it. It's nobody else's job. So I think just being clear about the fact that I wanted to have a business, but not just have a business, like not just claim CEO. I wanted to actually have something that sustained me and something that set my soul on fire. Since I was young, I've always been the person who cared about how I felt. You know, some people are like, just suffer. Just go to a job you hate for 30 years. It's okay. And I was always the person that was like, I was fine going the route that didn't really make sense for everybody else, as long as it aligned with what I felt I was supposed to be doing spiritually. I've always been very connected to God. So I didn't care about what made sense to everybody else. I was always like, I want joy, I want peace, I want fun, I want excitement. I don't feel like I should wake up and dread my life. So I'm going to follow the path that brings me that feeling. And it might be more challenging, but I know that there's a reward on the end. Whereas we're both going to suffer. There's going to be suffering no matter what path you take. Why not suffer and get the reward that you want on the end instead of just suffering for the sake of playing it safe, I suppose. Yeah.
That's deep. That's deep.
Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We all going to suffer.
Right.
Suffer and get the outcome you want eventually.
Right. I think somebody was telling me recently that it's basically kind of like it's going to be hard regardless. So it's like choose your heart.
Choose your heart.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can't avoid hard.
Right.
You just got to figure out, do I want the one that ends in me just having hard? Or do I want the one that ends in me getting what I want?
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah. And I was wondering if you could possibly, hopefully at the event that you were at, that we both was at, some people that was able to get some wisdom from your session, because I use this as an example, and there's no knock to them, because obviously these people, they definitely have value, but I think about influencers, more specifically food influencers, and I talk about them, you talk about like being stuck in free, and it's like, the analogy I use is that people selling their souls for a cheeseburger because they willing to accept like free food as payment, which is cool if that's all you want, but I think that obviously are doing it to be able to get more. So I was just wondering if you had any thoughts about that. I want people to stop, quote unquote, selling their souls for a cheeseburger so that they can be able to elevate and grow into what they really want to be.
That is so funny. So I won't say they selling their soul for a cheeseburger. That is hilarious, by the way. But I will say, is this what you want?
Right.
The biggest problem is most people aren't clear about what they want. They have a vague vision, so they keep getting vague results. If you continue to operate with uncertainty for what the vision is, what the ultimate goal is, then you're going to create, run yourself dry, be burned out, and then still never get anything from it, right? And I'm not saying everybody's goal is the money. I mean, stop playing. We all want the money.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, stop playing yourself. You're not posting 100 posts because you don't want some money. Like, be for real. Some people do just want to create, right? Yes. I do believe that those people exist. Yeah. And I think it's perfectly fine. I was not using social media for that. Now there is a mix of that, because I do just enjoy creating, but I also enjoy creating a lifestyle that I love. And adding value to people's lives allows me to do that. The content is how I communicate everything else, right? So I think, I won't say it's selling your soul for a cheeseburger. I just think it's important to know what your intentions are. If you feel like I'm just creating because I want to make people smile, I say go for it. Do it endlessly. And a lot of people do win in that way. I won't say, there are people that go viral and get million. Keith Lee is one of them. Just good intentions, good heart, and you will win, right? Just based off doing something you love.
But be intentional, because he's very intentional.
Very intentional. But what I will say is make sure it's something you love. Because the thing is, you will start for free, but make sure it's something you thoroughly love and enjoy. Because I do see people getting burned out, and it's like, why are you burned out? That's not even your job. You know what I'm saying? You're not even running social media like a business. So why are you burned out from just posting at every event? Stop doing that. You don't have to post at every event.
This is true.
You don't have to, but you're doing it because you want to be a brand ambassador. You want to make money. And that's why you're burned out, because you're trying to get there. So how about you take a step back, figure out the strategic way to do it, and stop waiting for social media to pay you, number one. Because, I had a post that got like 6 million views, and I think in 3 months I made $200 off of it, right?
That's not where you get the most coin from.
No.
Yeah, they pay the least.
They pay the least. So you want to leverage it so that you can build the right relationships and connections so that people will invest are prepared to invest in.
For sure.
So that's the biggest thing. Like, if you're going to post, if you're going to create, also have some back end work where you're like, okay, I'm posting and creating because after I post to Target, I'm also going to reach out to Target and say, hey, I love your products. I'd love to partner with you. I want to get into your affiliate program, whatever the case may be. A lot of people don't do the back end work. Their only work is social media.
Yeah.
Like, do you understand? When I post, I also have my assistant reaching out to people right now for speaking engagements, for consulting opportunities, for all of that. Like, this is not just what you see on social media. That is like a fraction of the work. And I think that's the biggest problem is people have this misconception that, like, if I just post endlessly, I might get rich.
Nope.
And you don't run a business off hope. You run a business off strategy.
Come on now.
Like, be for real.
You put that on your website, on the t-shirt.
You don't run a business off hope. That's not a business.
Right.
That is just like, I'm creating and it ends up turning into something.
Yeah.
How amazing, right? Tabitha Brown, right? But who knows what Tabitha was doing being intentional? Like, who knows,
True. Very
right?
true. Yeah.
You don't know. And I tell people always, there is an exception. There is, and I know it seems like everybody's blowing up, but that's literally a fraction of people, a fraction of people that have millions of followers that have gone viral.
Yeah.
The majority is not getting that.
Right.
But it looks that it is a system. Okay? So that's number one. So I tell people there is an exception. You can go viral tomorrow, blow up, be on the news, make $1 million. But you want to operate according to the rule. And if you just so happen to win while operating according to the rules, by all means. Otherwise, just say I'm creating because I love it. I have a job that already pays me. I'm not pressed about this social media money. But if you really want to make money on social media, be for real. Be honest with yourself. Be clear about your vision. And then hire a coach that can support you in the process.
I like that plug.
Stop doing it alone. But for real, like, stop.
Yeah. Fact.
You know, it's a shortcut.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
How did you develop your brand on social media and in the digital space? How did you develop your brand and be intentional about that?
Number one, I loved it. I think some people are forcing themselves and they don't genuinely love social. I love social media because I don't take it that seriously.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I do run it like a business, but I also understand, like, I focus on the good of social media. I think that's what helps is I am so focused on the good of the platform that I get to leverage the tool in the best way. Whereas some people get so wrapped up in the negativity of the platform that they lose their way and they end up consuming. I think because I create so much and don't consume as much. I mean, I do consume a lot some days, and I'll be like, okay, you need to fast, lock it down, girl. Go into hiding because you're picking up your phone too much, right? I'm like, we all are guilty of that. But I will say, I thoroughly enjoy connecting with people. I thoroughly enjoy sharing my message. I believe that what I'm sharing matters. It impacts people, and I'm focused on that. Like, I could be driving down the street, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta share this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I enjoy sharing. So my mix of social media is like probably 50-50, 50% strategy and then 50% sharing because it's truly in my heart. And what I tell my students at Life Coach University is you're not going to win if you don't care about people. It don't matter how good of a coach I am and how much strategy I give you. If you don't care about people, you're not going to want to keep showing up for them. Because sometimes the work that you do is thankless.
Wait, so how in Washington? Never mind. All right, go ahead. I'm with you.
What?
How did people get certain seats in Washington if they don't care about people? But we ain't got to go into. Yeah, we ain't got to go into all that.
Well, they getting paid. You know what I'm saying? They're getting paid pretty penny.
There is an incentive.
There is an incentive.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? There's status. There's money.
Yes.
So, but as a life coach, sometimes everything I do is not connected to $1.
Yeah, it's for the people.
It's really for the people. And granted, it's for profit too. But but because otherwise I'd be a philanthropist. I'd just be giving, right? So what I always tell my students, you gotta know what's for free and what's at a fee. It's sometimes people will DM me, they'll talk about X, Y, and Z, but the Holy Spirit will lead me to get on the phone to pray with them. I can be on the phone with them for an hour. I ain't charging them nothing. I'm not invoicing you because that's not what I was led to do.
Yeah.
But some people already know. You want to talk my ear off? Here's the link. That's no. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing that. Get on, here's the link. You know where my website is. I'm not answering 1,000 questions for you.
Yeah.
So I think it's just, again, because I know I'm doing the work of the Lord, that I'm on assignment. But I also understand that it's nothing like shameful about wanting or needing money. The more money I have, the more impactful I can be, right? I was able to leave CreatorCon, sell every book in my bag, and then go to a young girls retreat where I was able to give all 10 young ladies 2 of my books, not just 1, but 2. Why was I able to do that? Because I'm not pressed because I actually have something that is able to fund that donation, right? Yeah. So I think it's just important to know, like, what's business, what's ministry, what's charity, and you can do them all effectively.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So talk to us about this elephant in the room right here. Stop Playing Small. This is your second book that you have authored, or second project that you have authored. So what's this book about that's sitting right here the whole time?
So cute. Well, it's Stop Playing Small, How to Go From Stuck to Unstoppable. And it's really like, it started as an affirmation to myself. You know, and I have a homeboy, I don't know if you know Keon Clinton, but he is always like, you're a giant. He's been telling me that for years. We've been friends for 7 years. He's always like, you're a giant. And I'm like, you know, I hear that voice sometimes because I'm like, I be kind of playing a little small. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think about the impact that I made in people's lives. And sometimes I don't communicate that because I find myself playing humble or modest. And I think men just do a better job at it anyway. Just bragging about themselves. I think it's just a thing for women sometimes. We're like, I don't want to brag. But it's not about bragging, but it is communicating my value. Yeah. So I think, you know, when I started writing this book, I was still in corporate. And I was mad. Because I remember, I think it was a day I was on social media, and I just was like, why you not stepping up into what you're, like, for me, I wasn't jealous. I was looking at myself like, why you letting everybody else live in their purpose and operate in their gifts, and you're not doing it too? Yeah. So I was grateful for the content that I saw that made me say, stop playing small. So I started writing this book as an affirmation to myself, and I finished it because other people needed that same affirmation. I think there are so many people, especially, you know, being in this work, working with executives, working with entrepreneurs who have made millions of dollars or impacted thousands of lives, and they're still playing like they're not who they are, and they haven't done the work that they've done, and it's not meaningful, and it's not life-changing and world-shaking. And I think it's just important for people to really look within themselves and see how important they are, to the world, and show up in that authority because someone needs their gift. So, yeah, I'm yelling at people in this book. and also, in addition to that affirmation, it also gives us the practical strategies. So one thing I'm super big on, I'm a framework girl. Like, I could easily just motivate you. But what I do in my book, the Balance book, and also this book, is I walk people through a series of questions that helps them to gain awareness of why they're in the place they're in, acknowledge how it's affecting their lives, and then give them some steps to really take action to move beyond the place that they're in. So I go through my journey of why I played small. So instead of just saying I was playing small and now I'm playing big, it's like, and then also I say in this opener, this is a journey that I'm still on with you, because there's always a new level to unlock, to play bigger and play worthy, right? I go through the journey of like the lens that we see ourselves through, and why we see ourselves through that lens, and why we play small. And then I give you the practical tools, because some people don't even understand why they're playing small. I grew up in poverty. I come from a broken home. I have experienced abuse. I am a college dropout. I was never the head of my class. So I never really fit in. I was bullied. So all these things, all these experiences that I had shaped me and the way that I saw myself and the way that I showed up in the world. And I was the person who was going to take a seat in the back and shrink. And it's so funny because I was always trying, but nobody ever remembers me as that girl, right? They're like, you were always so loud and vibrant and happy and nice. And I'm like, I was scared as heck. Like, where were y'all? But it's just a testament to how apparently I was operating in that. Even though I was scared, I was doing it anyway. Even though I was shaking in my boots when I got on stage, I would still show up and speak. So I'm really living this. I'm not just talking it. I'm really living this.
Yeah. What made you flip the switch in life? So all those things that you mentioned that you had been through, you know, that's more so conducive for someone who would live like a shyer lifestyle and things like that and continue to play small. So for you, like, was it mentors? Was it like, you know, what was the thing that helped you flip the switch to say, you know what, I want to live in who I am?
Man, it was really exposure. Exposure to, I would say the first time that I really started to see myself as being worthy of doing more, having more, being more, doing more, and having more is The Secret. The Secret, okay, I was introduced to The Secret at the age of 22 by a guy that I went on like 2 dates with. Don't even remember his name. But I literally was at his house one day and he was playing The Secret. I had never known anybody in my life to play a motivational video. I was like, I'm from the east side of Detroit, 48205. And I'm like, he turns on this like, we're eating dinner. And he's like playing this motivational video. And I'm like, but I was so into it. And it was, and I started watching it myself. I started going down the rabbit hole. And that's when I ran into Les Brown and Eric Thomas and Mel Robbins. And like all these people started to pour into me every day. And that was actually the thing that really changed my life before anything else. It was those messages of like, no, you, and then from there I learned that this is really the Bible. But the Bible wasn't that condensed and packaged.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So it was a lot harder to digest and understand what the messages were. But The Secret really changed my life. And from there, I mean, it's still a journey, right? But I think exposure is extremely important. When you're constantly in the same environment around the same people that think the same, that do the same things, you're going to think that this is normal. You're going to think that it's acceptable. And once I get around people that are multimillionaires and, you know, they're like able to write $100,000 checks to organizations that they care about and stuff like that, like that's what I want to be around. You know, so the more that I'm around that, the more that I'm inspired and the more that I see the glimpse of possibility for myself. And once God shows me, I'm like, he ain't show me for nothing. Right. That's how I am. But it was definitely The Secret.
Got you. Yeah. And you say you're still on this journey, so
absolutely.
I'm gonna flip it. What's something you still playing small with?
Okay. I think something I still play small with is going global. Like, global has been prophesied to me for a long time, and it's not any rush because it's really like I don't have to chase global, because if God spoke that into my life, then it's going to happen in his timing. But I do think the first step is getting uncomfortable, which I shared with you. I'm not going to share that yet because that's not something I'm wanting to share with people yet. That's something I'm in prayer about. It's happening, but I am keeping that tucked with God. You can't share everything.
For sure.
But getting uncomfortable. So I'm about to get uncomfortable, definitely with my environment.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the thing. That's the thing.
That's part of the growth journey, expansion.
Absolutely. Getting super uncomfortable, new environment. That's where it's at. Because when you're in a new environment, you know, when you're uncomfortable in that way, you got two options: fail or thrive. Like thrive like you never thrived before. You don't usually thrive. Like in this environment, it's like I could fail or I could kind of plateau and stay where I'm at.
Yeah.
But in new spaces, it's like fail or turn all the way up. I feel like those are the options, and I ain't feeling.
Yeah.
feeling it. If I know that those are two options, let's turn up.
Right.
I'm going to get creative. That's how it works.
Speaking of being a creative, I can obviously tell that you are a creative in this conversation.
Thank you.
So I wanted to ask you why go the route of writing this book or even the first project when maybe you could have done this in another creative medium, so to speak?
Wow, that's so good. I'm going to be honest. The first book I wrote because I wanted to position myself as an authority. And all of my mentors, it's so important to have mentors. It's so important to have people who are like, who you listen to and execute on their guidance. So I'm listening to people who are like, get a book. So even though I never was inspired to be an author, to write a book or anything, the book has been transformational for people. So I will say I could have just put out anything. I did put out something meaningful.
Of course.
But I did that to position myself as an authority in the space, build more credibility as a coach. Because it's one thing to say I'm a coach. It's another thing to say I'm a coach and I'm an author. I finished a project, right? So that's meaningful when you're thinking about partners, when you're thinking about working with companies. That matters to them. It's opened up a lot more doors for me. I'm not going to lie. And in addition to that, so that was the initial reason, just being honest. And then after that, it's now allowed people to leave with something more than just the one engagement. So, I mean, I know people that have said, I've read the Balance book 3 times. Like, I leave it on my coffee table. I use this chapter to, like, go through. I'm like, oh, like, I didn't even think it was going to have that kind of impact. Yeah. Right? So now it's just work that they can take with them. And then also what I've learned as well is some people can't invest into my services. And I've gifted books that are for people that are like, man, I would love to invest in your service. I'm like, here, the Balance book will change your life. Some of them have come back later and worked with me. Some of them have just come back and shared testimonies with me of how it transformed them. So it allows me to still touch a lot of people, even if I'm not in their budget for the service. Yeah. So, and this book, I just needed this message. This message, this movement, like, stop playing small is more than a message, like more than a book to me. I'm putting this in people's hands because I want them to know how worthy they are. So this one, apparently I'm an author. I'm working on third. So yeah, I'm like, I see what books do for people. It kind of bridges the gap between like, who is LaNasia? It kind of answers a lot of questions to provide support for people. Because some people, I ain't got time to really explain what I do, how I do it, but here's this book. If it transforms you, cool. So yeah, it also just bridges the gap for a lot of people who may not understand coaching. They're thinking about it, but this is a coaching tool, just like the first book.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can put your coaching into practice in real time. So I know you have some experience being a fellow podcaster. So I want to know, transform the Black Friday podcast. How can we think to be able to scale and grow and be bigger than where we at today?
Oh, okay, cool. So first I would ask you, what do you consider to be bigger?
What would I consider to be bigger? I would think more so if I'm thinking metrics like millions of downloads. So maybe that's one thing, but really more so what you talked about earlier, the impact, like being able to impact people and have conversations like this, being able to touch them so that they can go and then start their own whatever entrepreneurial venture or business practice that they would like to do. So being able, I'll say the millions of downloads from a metric standpoint, but that's in turn of being able to reach more people from an impact perspective.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna get even more specific with the question, right? Okay. So you're saying in terms of metrics, bigger means impacting millions of lives, right? What are 2 other things that you would say you would qualify as bigger for the Black Friday podcast?
2 other things outside of that. I would say more meaningful partnerships. Okay. So continuing to have partnerships and opportunities to work with organizations, businesses that align. And then the second thing would be to continue to build a business structure around it. So from a production standpoint, and then also just like, more so production and being able to scale and do similar services for other organizations, businesses.
Okay, absolutely. And collaboration was definitely something that I had in mind. So let's kind of go there a little bit. Okay. When you think about your ideal partnerships and collaborations, are these people that are investing into your podcast financially? Are these people that are sharing their platforms and their audiences with you by collaborating? Or are these people that are advocating for the work?
I would say all the above.
Okay.
Or do I need to pick one? Because I know you. Oh, okay.
No,
cool.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So all of the above.
Yeah.
So now what I would do next is I would identify, okay, as far as financial support, identify who are the key stakeholders, who are the people that have an interest in what it is that I'm offering, and have they invested in other things like mine?
Okay.
And then what does it look like for me to have a conversation, have the initial conversation with them, right? What are the steps to get me from being interested in having them as a key stakeholder to actually having them invested in what it is that I'm offering, right? So getting clear about what those deliverables are so that you can close that and, close that partnership. And then as far as collaborations, the same. Who are your ideal collaborations? Who are the ideal podcasts that you will want to collaborate to basically use, leverage their audience to come to you and work with you?
You asking?
Yeah.
I would say Earn Your Leisure because they had a huge influence on my podcast. The Pivot also is a huge one, and Side Hustle Pro.
Okay, awesome. Have you reached out to any of those yet?
I have not.
Okay, what's stopping you?
Playing small.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you reached out to any of those financial institutions, ideally? Or you haven't identified
funders,
them?
Or you mean like the
Funders.
organizations,
Yeah.
or like actual financial, like a bank?
That will invest in what you're offering.
Somewhat, but not enough.
Okay, got it. What would be enough?
Reaching out to, having a set amount of people to reach out to on a weekly basis or daily even.
Well, first knowing how much money you need.
Oh, yeah.
How much money you need.
That too.
Understanding who's willing to offer how much. And then that determines how many people you need to reach out to. Because if you need $100,000 and one person is able to give you $100,000, then you only need to reach out to one person.
Yes.
But if you're like, okay, I need $100,000, but every organization is willing to give me $20,000, then that means I need to reach out to this many organizations to try to get $20,000, right?
Okay.
So knowing what your number is first, knowing if I want people to invest in my business, I need to know what number I'm actually going for. If I'm looking for collaborators, big podcasts, then I need to know who I want to collaborate with, how to reach them, what are the ideal steps to be able to, get in the spirit with them to have that conversation. And maybe not even limiting yourself to the biggest podcast, but understanding if I get 10 smaller podcasts that have
same impact.
5,000, you can have the same impact as you would with the bigger ones. So maybe a volume play might be first, you grow your platform, and then eventually you're communicating with your bigger partners, right? And then the last one is cheerleaders, advocates, brand ambassadors, right? So utilizing them, how do you feel like you could leverage brand ambassadors and people to advocate for the podcast right now?
Being able to be in spaces that I'm not able to go to. Obviously, I'm only one person, but being able to be in those spaces and then advocate for the platform and the value that it's able to bring. One thing I'm proud of is that essentially I have a library of these types of conversations to be able to, I can point people to be like, oh, you want to start your own clothing business? Go listen to these few episodes. Are you interested in government? Go listen to these. So some people who can be able to talk to that and then be in the spaces that I can't, and or do so from a digital perspective.
Absolutely. And being clear about what those people look like. I think knowing
Black.
But not just black.
No, I'm
influential.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you don't just want people, you can have 5 black people that nobody listens to.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So knowing that these people must be influential, they must have and these are just examples. They must have a following. They must have a following that doesn't follow you.
Okay.
Because what's the point of leveraging someone's, audience if it's the same audience, right? You want to expand. So being clear about those things, about what that brand ambassador looks like, getting that profile of that brand ambassador so that you can start to be intentional about reaching out, having those conversations, because that would probably be your first step.
Yeah.
That it's low barrier of entry. And then what you would offer them, in exchange that is of some value to them as well. So, yeah. And we can map out the whole plan, just let me know. And there's a million other questions to be asked, but
of course.
for the sake of time,
that's on the spot too.
Yes.
So yeah,
Did you like your coaching session?
I did. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, 5 stars.
Thank you.
So as we land the plane here, we'd love for you to be able to tell the people how can they tap in with you. Of course, if they want to get a coaching session like we just did right here, that's more detailed and processed, or if they want to get a copy of the book, how can they tap in with you? What's your socials, website, all
Absolutely. LaNasia Angelina Angelina everywhere. I keep it real simple on purpose. Business 101. Okay? Do not make it hard for people to find you. LaNasia Angelina everywhere. My website is LaNasiaAngelina.com. You can also, if you're interested in Life Coach University, becoming a life coach, becoming a speaker, I'm actually got something real special with my brother Keon coming for y'all soon, where we'll be developing coaches and speakers in the same space. So visit Life Coach University online, and we can support you there as well. My team and I are on call and ready to answer any questions that you have about that. But yeah, follow me on social media, DM me, tap me in, have a conversation with me, because I want to talk to y'all.
And you dropped a few nuggets in terms of what the future looks like, but I ask all my guests, what's in your crystal ball? What do you see on the horizon? What do you want to put out there so that we can see it coming to fruition later on?
Yeah, well, number one, 10,000 books sold.
Okay.
Like, that's my first checkpoint. 10,000 books sold. Need that yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, so we definitely want to hit that. You can also just expect me to stop playing small. So I'm about to get louder, get more annoying, make more impact, press those pain points a little bit more. So look out for that. And my podcast, Transform Your Life, is coming back. So
Dope.
I mean, people tell me all the time, like, I listen to your podcast like a cup of coffee every morning. So it's coming back. You're about to hear me back. But, oh, actually, another thing, too. I got so much coming up. Black Women Transform is my free coaching community for women. We pray together. We read the Bible together. We had over 200 women in the community before I took a break, a sabbatical. But it is coming back January 2026.
Dope.
So that is super exciting. Join the community. It will be transformational. Trust me, and a great community of women.
Love it. Love it. Love the conversation today. Love everything
you.
that you
Me
got
too.
going on. Definitely see how you've been able to do the work to transform yourself
Thank
and then
you.
also help others as well. And then give us some game for Black Fridays. And then hopefully some other podcasters can listen to it as well and understand what they can do to stop playing small.
You're a great podcaster.
Thank you,
like
thank you.
This was so easy. I don't even want to leave.
I appreciate it.
Okay. I'm like, we can talk some more.
You know, it's a December thing.
Is it? No,
It's
it is.
Yeah, sad season is upon us.
I promise. It is like such a thing. So I feel the energy. I appreciate you so much. This
course.
was like so much fun.
Of course. Yeah, we appreciate having you and everybody listening and watching. We're going to tap in with y'all soon. Peace.